Today we're going to talk about the MVP and how to create using this process. Now, we aren't using this in terms of like the sports team today. We're using it the way tech companies do. What do I mean when I say MVP? It's the minimum viable product. In this video, we're going to outline why you want to start with the minimum viable product and move upwards, how you can use it to create your content, and when to expand beyond this level of simplicity. First, story time. This last weekend, we moved my parents out of their house. They lived there for almost 60 years. As you can imagine, you collect a lot of stuff over that many years, particularly if you have 8 children, not to mention the other 48 people who lived with you from time to time. But that's a story for a different video. When we moved them out, we knew we had to work quickly to get them all settled. See, my mom has dementia and would not tolerate a long, drawn-out moving process. So we came up with a MVP plan. What do we need to move at a minimum for them to feel comfortable and make this new place feel like home? That was the question that we chose to answer. The question that guided all of our decisions and made it simple to achieve. We went to work, moving their stuff, first their bedroom while my mom and dad were watching television as part of their daily routine. Then, when she and my dad went upstairs to eat lunch and play games, also part of their routine, we moved their chairs and TV. We were just putting on the final touches, hanging pictures right next to the TV when it was time for the next part of their day. And that was when we had them come over to their new permanent vacation home. It has your name on it.
Bruce and Judy Care. That's our apartment. Our
Yeah.
108. Can we go in?
Yeah, you want to see it? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's come see it.
Oh my gosh, there's our bed and that's our bedroom set.
That's
Yeah.
your bedroom.
How did we get that?
Come our way, didn't they?
Come in here. We have more surprises.
My parents walked in and everything was familiar to them. Their chairs were there, their bed and their TV. Family pictures were even there, and their clothes and toiletries had been put away. How did this happen? My mom kept asking.
All of our pictures on it. How did that happen?
It's magic. We set it up for you.
Yeah, but our pictures are still at home.
No, they're right here. This is your home.
You brought these here?
Yeah, because this is your new vacation house. I don't even know how it happened. That's amazing. I told her it was magic. Because it really was. With the help of my siblings and my family, we got to move everything for them in one afternoon. That is what the MVP plan does. You take the minimum viable product and create it. Then, if you have time, you create more and better. And more and better. If not, at least you have the minimum covered. I learned this term from a coaching client of mine. We were discussing videos and how to make them quickly. I explained the concept, but didn't have a term for it. He said, "Oh, I did that in computer engineering too. We called it the MVP." I loved that name because it resonated with how I'd learned to produce videos while I worked in news. See, in news, you have to create fast. You have to have a story that's on the air while it's still fresh or developing. There's nothing like breaking news to drive ratings up and get people watching. So it always had to be a balancing act of how quickly you could break the news and the quality of the story. Enter the MVP process. Sometimes we would only have enough information for a reader, a story that was just facts read by the news anchor. That was the minimum viable product. It got the information out there and told the story. But if we had time or resources, we would add what we call B-roll, which is video that you put over the top of the story. That term B-roll comes from the film days when we would splice together scenes and cover up edits. In the old westerns, it usually was a horse or a reaction shot. And A-roll was the main story. Adding B-roll usually takes the production value up a notch. Then, if we had more time and the story needed more information or emotion, we would add an interview to it. Eventually, it would become a self-contained package, a story with a beginning, middle, and end produced by a reporter and an editor and other team members. Each time the quality went up, but it all started with an MVP, or a minimum viable product. So let's take that same approach to your videos today. Where do you want to end up at the end of your video? What is the easiest route to get there? Just as we knew where we wanted to end up with moving my parents, remember, we had a question that we wanted to answer. What is the minimum that we need to do to move them in and make them feel comfortable at home? You should start with a question of your own. It might be, what does my client need to know to want to work with me? Or what will introduce my client to my process and see that this solution is right for them? Come up with your own question, then answer it with an MVP process. What do they need to know to move forward? How could I accomplish this in the simplest format? Is this a viable product or result for me to test? Once you've proved the viability of your product, that is when you can up your production value. A fun way I like to go about this is to look back at some of my most watched videos. They've gotten views and they were helpful. Now, could I explain more on this solution? Could I make it more interesting? Can I make it more compelling? That is exactly what we did in news each time we increased the production value. We'd add more video to increase emotion, make it more personal to the viewers by making some sort of connection for them. Once you have a viable product, then you can increase the value. That will keep clients coming back and telling others about it too. If you're ready to lay the foundation of video in your business, join me inside of Lights Camera Action. I'll show you how video can save you time, connect with clients, and grow your business with value that lives for years to come. For more details, go to mattcare.com/workwithme. See you inside.